If there is a story that tells you not to do something or terrible things will happen, don't do it!
Why don't you tell me someone is loving you? 'Cause you're my girl. Some say it's no longer true. They're saying some slick continental dude.
This is going to require a little bit of storytelling so you can understand what's going on. Basically, three friends decided to pull a prank on someone that they knew was going to torment them on Halloween. It went a little too well, and they ended up forcing the guy to wreck his car. Trying to escape the guy and his friends, they end up going to a drive-thru and hide in someone's car. They befriend this new guy and decide that instead of finishing the movie, they'd go to a haunted house. And when they do, they find that there's this book hidden behind a secret room on a shelf in the basement. And it belongs to the legendary Sarah Bellows, who used to tell stories to children through the wall of the basement. But every story she told led to the children going missing. Which why you would do everything that the stories tell you not to do is one of my gripes about this story. Yeah, I guess you kind of have to start it like that because usually it involves someone being mischievous and something bad happens. There's gotta be a better way of doing this. Couldn't it be intelligent people find the idiots that do something, and instead of the smart people who had to deal with this, it's the smart, kind, generous people who are trying to save all the dumbasses? Is that too unrealistic? This is not just a original story. This is an adaptation, a love letter to a series of books called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And each of the stories seen in Sarah Bellows' book is a story from that series of books. Because all they were short stories to scare kids. But they were a part of the Scholastic lineup, so they were like at book fairs and such. You could get them there. And the illustrations are really good. They're creepy, kind of eerie, but it's also a good representation of what you're going to see in the movie, because they try to be very faithful to the very images of these scenes. Like Harold and the Pale Lady, they were really spot on with that. I will say that I enjoy the format of this film. You see, it combines both a linear story and an anthology theme, with this having one continuous story, but each of the characters ends up being a part of a unique story that is designed to drag them away into a world beyond life, I guess. They don't really explain what happens to them, they just disappear. And it's up to the friends who aren't in the story to help the friends that are survive and not be dragged away into darkness. I could have just said it's a bunch of people that went to a haunted house and they found a book, and now the stories in the book are about them and they're being dragged off into darkness. But I wanted a little more explanation of that, because it just wasn't as straightforward as a lot of movies are. It doesn't just get right into it. It takes a few moments. But actually, I appreciate that because we get to know the characters in these scenes a little better. We find out a lot about kind of the dynamics going on here. And we get introduced to one of my favorite characters, which is Ramon. Ramon and Stella are the main characters, but you also have August, or Augie as he's called. I can't remember the other guy's name. I really should. I just can't remember. Actually, let me take a moment. Now I know why I forgot his name. His name's Chuck. And to be honest, that's about the most plain name a person can have, and is so damn generic, it's no wonder I forgot it. I mean, you got Ramon, Stella, and Augie. August, but Augie. But Chuck? How the hell was I going to remember Chuck? I remembered the bully's name being Tommy. Only because it wasn't Thomas or Tom. But Chuck? Just Chuck? Not Chucky, not Charles, not Yeah, I don't even know. It's Chuck? I mean, I'm not gonna take points off of the film for that. It's just like, really? Of all the names you could have chosen, you chose something that forgettable? Getting back on track, the acting and chemistry between the characters is all on point. It was really fun watching all these people interact with one another. Everything felt genuine. Everyone felt like they were having more natural communications. Well, except one flub that I remember, but one flub of the entire movie, I can forgive that. The ones I really like are Stella and Ramon because they got this clear kind of romance. They got those sparks, like when they share a smile. I just love that. I love when they get up to mischief and Ramon knows how to pick a lock, and then at another point there's another lock and he breaks out a knife and Stella takes the knife and picks the lock, and it's just like each time they share this look, this smile between them that I absolutely love because you can tell they're enjoying this. It's really great. They're cute together. They're a fun couple. Even though it doesn't get very serious, it's still nice to see that we've got that kind of chemistry. There's a lot of romances that are so forced, it's ridiculous. In this one, it actually feels genuine, and I love that. The monsters. The monsters are fantastic. I am surprised how unique they are. Because when you think of a scarecrow, you probably have something in your mind of someone made of burlap, or something made of burlap with straw coming out of old clothes, but Harold manages to be semi-unique with that molded face of his. The fact that his midsection's missing, he's got like this partially wooden arm that's like a plank of wood coming down to a glove, and the other one's an actual sleeve. When he walks, the ground thuds like a log hitting the ground or a hammer hitting the ground. The pale lady is really menacing. She's slow moving. She's quiet. She's almost gentle. But she's so... Ugh. The spiders. The spiders, I can definitely see people cringing over that. And the Jangle Man. Which, nice to see he's no longer just a Jangle boy. He's really grown up into a Jangle Man. The Jangle Man, people will probably have the most divided opinions on because he's basically all CGI. But for what he's doing, I can justify that. And to be honest, the further from reality that the Jangle Man is, the better in my opinion, because I'd rather not have that guy haunting my dreams. He is very freaky, and the image of this twisted, broken corpse of a man just... He's... I don't want to get too much away. I mean, with Harold, I gave a lot away, but it was mostly from the image. I just want to point out that they take something that seems very simple, but make it very unique and tuned to this particular film. Well, except maybe the spiders and the corpse that Augie has to deal with. But for the most part, these creatures have a very unique look. They are very creepy and unnerving. I like that. They don't really scare me, and they don't necessarily come off as scary, probably because they are introduced very quickly once they are summoned, sort of, and then they're gone fairly quickly because the stories don't last very long. They still are very creepy, and I can grant the movie that. Being creepy is still an accomplishment, because it's hard to scare people, but to creep them out, there's a bit of difficulty in that too, and I like that there was some creepiness in this. Plus, you're definitely going to have some issues, because it's a PG-13 movie, so A lot of younger audience members are going to be able to see this, the ones that don't get to see those rated R movies, and this is a great avenue for them to get into some more extreme stuff. It's like going from Monster House to Alien, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is right in the middle. I'm okay with that. So long as you understand this isn't going to be a gore fest and that this is more for a younger audience. It's really trying to focus on people who are wanting to get into horror from that younger age. Then, if you're in that mindset, it's better for you. And the movie does have some really appealing locations and some good atmosphere. The presence that some of these creatures have, like Harold in the cornfield at night, or the Pale Lady in the hospital that goes into the red state when the alarms are triggered, or even the Jangle Man that's really been put into every little aspect of this. So it's got good atmosphere, good character, his creepy monsters. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. But there are some glaring problems with the script. Certain things in the story that just don't quite add up. The ending wraps itself up a little too neatly. There are certain things that characters do that don't seem plausible, or at least not something you would normally do. And things like that. There's little things here that kind of, well, the more you think about it, okay, this is becoming a bigger and bigger problem. Not so much that I can't enjoy the film, it's just, it's not a perfect film. It's held back a little bit. I will give the movie credit that it really tries to do the most it can with what it has. It is very restrictive based on its rating, but since its origins were in those scholastic books, I feel that it's more respectful to stick with that than to try and make it something that the kids who have read the books or who could read the books now couldn't watch because they're too young. I applaud them for everything that they did. I feel that the characters and monsters combined is more than enough motivation for people to watch this film. I give it an 8 out of 10, and I really do think you should watch this. I think you should go out to the theaters and really support this. So, I guess until the next one, see you later.